Hey guys, welcome back to Flea Market Adventures number 5. So this has to be the best weekend I've had, honestly, in years. We came on a Saturday as opposed to the usual Sunday. There was different vendors, great sellers. I found a lot of things for the collection, and we actually ran into some sharks that were blasting through all their money. So this was the first time that I ran into these two guys, and it was pretty evident right away what they were doing. There was people trying to get to the table. I myself was walking from left to right to try and see what was going on, and they kind of had that jerk stance where they had their legs spread, their hands on their hips with their shoulders flared out, and they were kind of like shoving their dicks onto the table so that they just took up all the spots. Right here, I'm trying to look at a few of the SNES games, but these guys already had a handful of really good games, but they were paying top dollar for it. There was no haggling out of them. They picked up a couple of boxed items, and I think they were paying like $25, $30 a pop. I was just looking at prices, and I'm not gonna lie, I was totally eavesdropping on what these guys were doing. I will resell games or trade out games to help build my collection. If I pick something up for $5 and find out it's worth $25, I'll trade it for $10, maybe $12. I'm not going to try and rip anyone off. These guys were just throwing money at him, and they were picking up all the great stuff. Well, great stuff, I guess, in their opinion. There was things that they were passing by, and we'll see that throughout the day. Right there's that bad dudes box. There was good stuff at this guy's table anyway, but they were there first, so I couldn't try and jump in on them. I was still doing good flea market etiquette. But look, see, $40 right there. These guys were just throwing money on average things at best. See, even here, it's hard to tell, but I'm reaching across to try and get these games. These guys are just totally balls deep on this table right now. And don't get me wrong, I have no problem with other people buying video games. It's just you could tell what these guys were up to right away. When you've been yard selling and flea marketing as long as I have, you're able to pick out the game players, the collectors, and then you know who the resellers are. So now that they were gone, I want to look at the Xbox games, the PlayStation games, stuff for my collection, yes, stuff that I wanted to play, but also I wanted to see what they passed over. The boxed Banjo-Kazooie, like I mentioned, the boxed Bad Dudes. There was Mario, Dr. Mario on the NES, Blast Corps. Yeah, tennis game here, Quake 2. Most of these games were priced $8. Over here's a table that I haven't seen before. Bunch of toys. A lot of people didn't have tables that day. Stuff was just strewn across the ground. Beautiful day this Saturday. Completely different than what I'm used to coming on Sundays. So, the next table with games again. Here's the guy again. The first guy's blocking potentially anyone else, including myself, out. Having his shoulders and his elbows pushed all the way out. And this guy's got some cool game stuff again, too. So again, I gotta walk back and forth to take a look, and there's a boxed Super Nintendo holder here with Nintendo sleeves in it. The guy said that he wanted $50 for it. That was too much for me. He points out the little golden latched one. I'm not sure if this was a mail-in, but I do come across these every once in a while. He said that this one was $35. I've seen them for cheaper, and it was kind of in haggard shape. Here's where I decided to try and get away from these guys, otherwise I was going to be behind them all day. Now today I was just checking out all the new tables. We had come so often on Sunday that Saturday was a completely new beast. There was tons of vendors that I never recognized. We come here, I guess, often enough for me to say that I know a good handful of the sellers, and I even recognize some of the people that come here. So this table had a bunch of CDs and just a few games out in the front. And if it wasn't for this Madden and this Assassin's Creed, I wouldn't have come to this table at all. Which you'll see in a few seconds why it might have been a big mistake. So looking at the Assassin's Creed, it's that triple pack. I almost picked this up the other day at Walmart, of course, because you know we're there once a week, and it was still $19.99. There goes the sharks walking by. So I decided that I wanted to take this game, and the guy came over quickly just to touch the box. He saw it was empty, so he ran away from it. So at first I was like, it's got a little damage to it. It would need to be repaired. But I said, let me see what I can do on this PlayStation 3 game, and then maybe we'll talk about the box. So I check the table, make sure that there's nothing else I want, and I get the guy's attention. Ask him if he'll take 4 for the game. He had no problem with that. And then as he's coming over, I ask about the SNES box too. What's he doing with it? At first, he said that he wanted what I had thought. He said 50. That's why I was like, 50? That's crazy. He's like, 15? And I said, I can't do 15 on it. Would you take 8 for it? And he said, yeah, he could do 8. So 8 and 4 for the two of them. $12 I thought was a really smart pickup for, you know, a box, old 35-year-old, 30-year-old box that I don't have. And I can repair it, you know, so that it looks more presentable. And really, that's what I want with this box. To put on the shelf. Have it as a display item. So here's our buddies leaving again. I decided, you know what? They're just working so well together. Like, you gotta give them credit. These guys were a good team. You had your blocker, your spotter. They were a good tandem. So I get to this table after they leave. I'm not sure what they picked up. I was making my purchases elsewhere. Everything on this table was $1 each. So I noticed some game-related comics. Busted up G.I. Joe here. Looked like he had all his pieces. Just the elastic part that holds his torso and legs together was snapped. Couple of little Transformers, some Nintendo DS cases, stuff that I want to pair with other things that I'm trying to trade. A lot of knockoff controllers and, you know, controllers that have the built-in casino games. Another two Nerf Tough DS cases. I decided on the orange one. A couple of things over here. These two guys seemed friendly enough. They were asking about the Nintendo box I had. Told them that I picked it up empty for $8. They were pretty impressed. A lot of good tables that had games. Like for, I guess a newer collector or a younger collector, this would have been a great day to pick up stuff. But I just, you know, I'm really trying to keep it under a budget, and I think that's actually helping me. I'll go out with a set price in mind, and I won't go over it. PlayStation 1 games. I don't really see a lot of PlayStation 1 games. That's why my PS1 collection is kind of small. Always looking for good titles to add to the collection, but not sports titles. At least not right now. Who knows? A couple more Game Boy cases, holders. Like I had mentioned before, PS3 and Xbox 360 games are all over now. You can put together a fairly sizable collection for about $5 each. So I picked up a couple of comics from this guy, the cases, you know, everything off that dollar table, paid $5. Grab my change, fill up the backpack, and I'm ready to go to the next table. Didn't I come here with a coffee? I think. Where did that coffee go? It's not my water. Oh, here we go. Let me just grab that. And we're off. Nobody wants Canadian jerseys. Okay, so you know it's going to be a good table when Kirby comes up to you with a big smile saying, "Baby, check out this table." This table is where I got a majority of my finds, which you'll see momentarily, and they had some great stuff. They had hidden items In coolers, they had a bunch of N64, Super Nintendo, NES games, Dreamcast games. Look at this thing, like, I haven't seen this thing ever by Bandai. It was made in '85. It adds like a joystick aspect to your NES controllers. Boxed Atari Lynx games. A bunch of empty boxes. They had perler beads in picture frames. They had a Mega Man built out of blocks. They had Xboxes in boxes. Systems, complete in box. They had joysticks for the Genesis. They had, I'm trying to think back to everything they had because I was just looking down, listening to the guys' pricing right now. The Atari Lynx games were 2 for $5. Like, I don't see Lynx games by themselves out in the wild, let alone box with like the shrink wrap on 75% of them. Game Genie. Trying to think. In the display case too, they had Banjo-Kazooie and I want to say a Legend of Zelda that was there. The boxes looked okay, but I guess it was more of display because you'll see they have some really good stuff in the cooler. This guy's brother comes back, so I started putting a stack together. Like there was things that I wanted to get here that I spent the majority of my money at this table, and for the amount of stuff that I got, I think it was well worth it. Guy's just adding up my stack, talking to his brother. I just wanted to get a few more shots of the empty boxes that they were selling. $2 an empty box. Sports titles were $1. And when the brother got back, he had mentioned to him that he was going to sell me the Super Controller for $5. He didn't want to let it go that cheap. We agreed on $10. This was their little special cooler. They had a lot of great boxed items. They had the Hey You Pikachu, Pokemon Stadium, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, Ghoul School, a lot of boxed items like Majora's Mask, a lot of boxed systems. I wish I had gotten more footage of it because this guy was really cool and I'd love to come back to their table if they were there again. And to end it all off, one of the last tables I passed by, here's our buddy in the yellow shirt and the white shirt. All the stuff that they bought that day, they were dropping off at this table to the older gentleman, who I can only assume is their father. Total resellers. Everything they picked up was going on this table. You can imagine the markup because they didn't do a lot of haggling. I bought nothing from them. I walked away. And of course, the most obvious way to end this episode, waiting till the end to show you all the cool stuff I got. Not a huge N64 collector, but for $3 each, I picked up all of these games. I have to trade another Top Gear Rally. I picked these games up in a lot for $15. I'm pretty sure Duke Nukem was worth about that much, so... And No Mercy trades pretty well. Mega Man 64, $12, unbelievable deal. I got the card from this father and son combo. I will buy from them again. $1 each for a comic. Again, not a huge comic guy, but video game related, Street Fighters, and who doesn't love Ash? Big Hurt, Jurassic Park. I think it was $5 for the two of them. I justify that by saying Jurassic Park was $4. Picked up a very clean cart, Star Fox, $10. Parappa the Rappa. I'd rather have it on PS1, but PSP's good enough. Another PSP. Every extended extra. I don't know. Boxed Super NES controller. Clean. Another PSP. Tony Hawk Project 8. PS3, like I said, easy to pick up. God of War collection. I had an empty one, now I have it complete. Twilight Princess. A boxed Final Fantasy The Spirit Within, Dr. Aki. Maximo and Street Fighter figure. $5 each, and then I got this guy thrown in for $3 because it was just left and the guy wanted to get rid of them. Wound up picking up a framed pixel art thing by those guys, $3. The box controller deck that I cleaned up, fixed with tape and extra cardboard. An empty Pitfall box, but it does come with the manual. All these boxes were $2. All-Star Baseball 2000, it's got Jeter on it, so it's good. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Rush 2049, San Francisco edition. And then Tony Hawk Pro Skater, which actually wasn't empty. It had Pro Skater and the Game Boy Color game in it. $1 each, the old McDonald's toy, and the I Like the Movie Mario. Then here are the boxed Lynx games. Boxes have been seen better days, but the games are pretty clean. $1 each for both of these holders. I'll keep the Nerf, trade out the SP one. I spent $12 on a yellow Game Boy Color. I picked up 3 Game Boy Advance games, which are going to Jordan. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Awesome game. So happy. I want to meet those guys again. Simpsons Bart's Nightmare for Genesis. The Super Controller by Bandai. Second Sight, Xbox. Missing the manual. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I tried it different this time by not mentioning the prices. Not that many people watch me, not like the other shows, but I don't want to be a cause for prices to go up. Thanks for watching, guys. Hey guys, just sneaking in at the end of this video. I just want to see who watched the whole video and who made it this far. So I want you to work in the number 500 somewhere into your comment so that I know that you made it this far. Don't be too obvious and say like congrats on the 500 subscribers, because anyone could put that comment. This will help you get an extra chance to win my upcoming 500 subscriber contest. Thanks for watching, guys, and I really appreciate the 500 subs.